comes a new challenger!
Welcome back, everybody. After the Tomb Raider hiatus, we are back. Me and Mr. Ruse Cinnamon are here today to discuss... Not so much discuss, well yes, this is a discussion, but we are going to be shooting from the hip and bringing to you some wild speculation on 7-Star. It already hit Japan, it's wild, we're going to share what we know, we're going to speculate on what we don't. If we get something wrong, blow us up in the comments as always. But, yeah, Mr. Cinnamon, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself, Doncon?
Very good, very good. You pull any good units lately?
Other than when I went hard in to get Beatrix, nothing really since then.
That must be satisfying, though. You go in hard and you get what you want. That must be very satisfying.
Yes, it's always nice. Okay. It was, I switched from iOS to Android.
Good man.
So I had this little Volta Lapis on my old iPhone that I just didn't have to look at, didn't have to worry about. So I was just like, that's my Beatrix fund.
Oh, spend it till you got it. Oh, okay, yeah, I blew all my tickets on the Final Fantasy IX banner too. I don't even know why. I never played the game. I just had a pile of tickets and like I couldn't resist anymore.
Everybody was doing it.
Yeah, man. So I got in on it. I was stupid because like the Women's Day banners were definitely where it's at to pull hard. Like the Batch 1 and Batch 3 were fire. So.
Oh, most definitely. Like if you're somebody who's looking for usable units or you're somebody who's looking for TMRs, then there's lots of options there.
Definitely. So, I guess to get down to business, what was on my mind in regards to 7-Star? Because Global and Japan are two different games, basically. Like, there's definitely a lot that they share. You can definitely use Japan a little bit to speculate what's happening. We definitely get hit with a lot of curveballs. Like, I find that the fine-tuning happens on the Global side. And, there's units that we have that they don't. There's units that they have that we don't. So I guess my first question is, with the global exclusive units, which is not as much as you think, but with the global exclusive units, who's getting that 7-Star treatment first off?
Oh, yeah, that's the good one, right? Because, I mean, I'm sure everybody's instinct is just to go right to the Japan release and say, it's like, those are going to be the first 7-Stars we get, which, yeah, I don't think that that's going to happen. As you said, it's how the balancing is done. Plus, global... I don't know. I would say probably. I would say Fravia's got to be in that first bunch. Fravia's kind of like the star of global units. Like Fravia's the one that made it's like, oh, whoa, global units can warp the meta. It's not going to be exactly like Japan.
Yes.
Like that's. I think she'll probably be in the first global batch. Maybe also what is it? The Final Fantasy. The Final Fantasy 11 Judge. No, 12.
Zargaburst.
Yes.
Yeah, Zarg's good. Oh yeah, he didn't get Japan, did he?
No, he didn't.
Odd, okay. I was thinking Olive too, like Olive, like especially where everything's now we're shifting to the true double hand meta.
Yeah.
I think like you have one yourself, and I imagine you tinkered with some of the gear that you did have. Did you get that true double hand swag going on for Olive yet, or?
Not yet, but I'm thinking about pulling in to try to get that Marshall glove off the Women's Day banner. That's
what I was going for too. Like I have a Cloud.
That's a tempted one.
And what I was playing with, which is awesome. I have a shitty version of this, and it's super wicked so far. I'm actually kind of toying with it now, just with the Tomb Raider event. I got Titus, and rocking the true double hand with him with the fixed dice.
Ooh.
And you have the quick hit upgrade now. I'm farming hard for the T4s, but it's just not coming. But luckily, FIDA event this Friday is going to be a story event, so I can farm for the T4s and hopefully get my Titus upgraded to the double awakening for his ability, and really pimp out that true double hand factor.
And that's because it's all like true double hand's all in the weapon, right? So
yeah.
So what you do with that? That's good. That's good.
I've seen a few. Like, there's a buddy on my friends list that has, like, something like 1,300 attack with the fixed dice. Like, it's... maybe it's not fixed dice. No, I think he must be using Brotherhood. Because fixed dice, I don't think he can break 1,000. Just because it's only one attack. But with the parameters of the bonus, like, you can get up to, like, 650. So,
yeah.
But it's insane. It does so much damage. So I saw that, and, like, I was getting sick of running the double Fravia all the time. So my eyes kind of got wide there. I'm like, I have Titus, and he's not absolutely useless. Sweet.
And you're a gambling man. Like You like rolling the modes.
Oh yeah, and like even like at worst, it still does pretty good because with the quick attack, it does good chaining damage. So, so back to 7-star. What do we know? What were the first units in Japan? What's that we have in global? So like, what can we expect day one when 7-star launches?
Well, luckily for you, I brought this up so that we wouldn't be talking like donkeys as we normally do.
God love ya. God love
All right. Japan launched with Lightning, Ramza, Delita, Dark Knight Cecil, Ace, Lunith, Queen, Onion Knight, Dark Fina, Orlando, Mary, Eileen, Emperor, Willem, Titus, Rem, Transtira, Folan, Veritas of the Dark, and Seabreeze Dark Fina. Like that is a powerful grip. Like that's a grip of good units.
That is a big stockpile, all available in global. So there's none of them that are Japan exclusive. It's almost like they did that on purpose. So just with that knowledge here, that almost worries me that it's going to be, for the unit, as far as unit availability goes, a copy and paste.
Well, it's okay. So here's what I think, because as much as I did the bare minimum of bringing up a list of these, I didn't look too far into which ones are like really powerful meta units right now. I try not to go too far ahead into Japan, and this is still, I did the math, like this is still, if we released roughly in the same way, this is still about 3 months away.
Okay, so we'd be looking at summertime.
3, 4, yeah. Like it would be if like its equivalent would be like this. What, this launched in October for them.
Yeah.
So I would say like similar to things like, once again, we went with we were talking about Zargabath, or he was released on the banner that Balthier was supposed to come out on. Like he was just a global that replaced that, because Balthier was a super meta warping unit in Japan.
Okay.
Same thing with Ramza's Awakening. Took a long time to come out because it was very meta warping in Japan. It made people able to sleep through content. So it's, and then this is kind of what you were saying earlier. Like it's they do these adjustments to global. Like it's not like it's ultimately they're not going to do buffs or they're not going to do buffs. They're not going to do nerfs on units because mobile games are essentially about power creep. Yep. Like you can't have somebody spend being your big whale and spend $500 trying to get a unit and then that unit gets nerfed. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's a very good point. So I do like the power creep point, right? It's just adjust the release date so that when it does launch, it can still be used in meta. It's still useful, but yet it's not like atomic bomb level of you have to have this and destroy everything. Yeah.
Like, to the point, like, Balthier took long enough to come out that Balthier was released with global exclusive buffs.
Oh, yes, I remember that. Now, I don't pay attention to Japan at all. It's hard enough to keep on track of global, but I do catch wind of things here and there, and one of those things was that Balthier did get some level of buff, and that's probably because to bring him up to speed with what we have available in global now.
Yeah, and then the very next week, Olive, who does a very similar job as Balthier, got a few buffs herself. So nice. in her unit Awakening. So there's lots of, for that role, for like that big cap damage, he came out at a more appropriate time in the meta when it wouldn't just be like, boy, you need a Balthier. For this batch, once again, I don't have access to a Japan tier list. I mean, I'm sure I could just search that really easily. But as I said, I'm mostly like, we've described ourselves as like people who know the game but are not always optimizing the game. So I'm not, and it's, I find if you're looking at Japan constantly, you never have a reason to pull. Because you always have that thought of, it's like, oh, well, if I pull now, I need to wait for next big unit. And by the time next big unit comes out, you're already like, oh no, there's already another big.
Yeah, it's a hurry up and wait scenario.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's I try to keep a little bit more. I do, like, especially when it comes to like Final Fantasy or Square games that I like. They tend to be one that kind of take a look. It's like, is that out in Japan yet? Is this character out or like in Japan? Can I look forward to them? Can I look at the sprite? Does the sprite look dope? Yes, of course the sprite looks dope.
So as far as 7-star goes, what unit do you want to see go 7-star? Now, this is not confirming or denying with what we know in Japan and on that list, but like when you're looking through your units and what you have there, what tantalizes the palate?
Let's take a look. Actually, I just thought of this, and this kind of ties in. I would imagine I would just think, because of how hard they go in on it, that shortly after we get 7-star, we'll probably get a 7-star Ariana Grande event. That's my thought. That's my yes.
Really? That's quite the swerve. Now, Japan was very late with getting the Ariana Grande. Like, we got it exclusive for global very quickly. Well, I guess not very quickly, but it launched when it launched, and we got it first, as opposed to like I think we got 2 Ariana Grandes, like the first one, and then the same thing again rehashed, just as one of those like cooldown banners, and then Japan got it.
Like, but it's, I mean, maybe that partnership is over, but if that partnership is persisting, I would absolutely expect a similar banner to that.
Yeah, so I guess it just all depends on how Ariana was licensed out, right? Because I'm sure she didn't have too much hand in the pot by the second or third time it came around, right? It's just that they're working with the sprites that, like, they how hard is it to make a sprite that kind of looks like the dangerous Ariana, right? So...
Yeah, and this is the thing, like, I wonder how... It's, like, it needs to be a hype event. I mean, on one hand, they don't have to... like tantalize the water, like, oh, give them a 7-star unit right away, but at the same time, like, doing a repeat on one of these like one of these, like, you get a free unit, like, you get the free Ariana, you get the free Lara Croft, like, doing one of those means that somebody who is still newish, if you're brand new, I get a new, like, we talked about this last episode, I get a new unit that's usable. If you're kind of newish and maybe have not pulled a lot of 5-star like rainbow bases yet, but you've already hit, say, like a Tomb Raider or an Ariana event, hitting one of those means you've now suddenly got 2 of those,
and everybody got lightning. Everybody got lightning. So we're gearing up to Now, I wonder...
people have 7-stars. I've completely dodged the question because I keep thinking about this thing to talk about.
Oh, no, that's fine, we're shooting from the hip. We're shooting it from the hip. We are not nerfed Balthier. We are buffed Balthier. With that said, I guess I'm dodging the question now, because I'm not even holding you accountable for answering the shit. Like, what's going on here? But, are they gonna do in Japan... or not in Japan, in global, what they did in Japan, where they did have an event where you could pick your unit?
Ooh, yeah, that's...
Because from my understanding, the Lapids flows quite a bit better in Japan than it does on global. Like, the Summit tickets flow quite a bit better in Japan than it does in global. They're definitely a lot more generous for Japan as opposed to the global.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get something similar to, like, the International Women's Day banners. It's like, because we've had kind of a similar pick your poison one like that. But I'm not sure if we're gonna get, like, the straight up pick it and get it.
Picketing, yeah. I think that's wishful thinking myself. I think what we are going to get is everyone's favorite guaranteed 5-star pull.
Yeah.
For $60 friggin' dollars. Things totally didn't crash there, but
not at all.
Not at all. God, I lost my train of thought now. Where were we? Yes. Are we going to get the $60 10+1 5-star guarantee on 7-star day, we'll call it?
I'm gonna say no.
You're gonna say no?
I'm gonna say there was enough of a sour response to that they don't need one of their major like this is one of those major hype spikes in this game. 7 stars. Like same with Cloud, same with Sephiroth. 7 stars is a hype spike. Like you don't want that immediately tainting it. Like, will we get maybe a guaranteed 5-star $60, please? A week or 2, 3 weeks before? Yeah, maybe. You know, just close enough to tempt people. It's like, oh no, this is, I don't want to spend this. Oh, but 7 stars coming out soon.
Yeah. Now, do they do a pick your own for the same price?
I think pick your own makes it an infinitely better value. I'm not sure if it's something I'd spend the money on, but I think it makes it an infinitely better value when, you need, 3 or 4 of the same rainbow unit to get, the 7-star and the super TMR.
Yeah, that's wild. So now, if they, I think if they did the pick your own close enough, okay, this banner is 7-star and leak enough saying next week is going to be the 7-star shift, I imagine that they would make good money, right? So just say for myself, I have the double Fravia, and if I have the bag, I'm going to spend that $120 to get the other 2 and get that STMR and just be balling day 1.
Yeah. And once again, even if it was just a pool of, it's like, hey, here's our opening palette of 7-star units, give us money to pull from this, guaranteed one of them. Like, they might not even have to limit that to, once.
Yeah, honestly, it's really going to depend on what they learned from that initial $60 FU. You can get a guaranteed 5-star, but you're going to need a lot of money. I wonder what they learned from that. If anything, then maybe we don't see the analytics, obviously, right? So we can only speculate. So did they get enough people to fork down that money to justify doing it again? I don't know. Usually with stuff like that, you're only going to see a lot of negative, and even the people that did do it might still speak negatively of it and do it anyways because they're just a gambling fiend and I gotta have it. So if I could guess, I would say that it would have done a lot better than what we would expect. Just because it looks terrible on paper to me. Obviously we beat this to death.
Oh, yeah.
It looked terrible on paper to you too.
Go check out that episode. There is a lot of good discussion in there.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for the plug. But with that said, I imagine it's definitely going to do better. Because I did see a few brave souls on Reddit saying they went ahead and did it. And some of them were meh about what they got. Some of them were disappointed with what they got. Because obviously it's random. But did enough people bite? I feel... And this is, if it's even if they just had a lukewarm reception to it, just giving it that hey, yeah, maybe it's a little bit better than we thought. Maybe it's still not great. Maybe it's still the bad press outweighed the monetary gains a little bit. But if you release that right when people are about to be super, super thirsty for rainbow drops, then I feel like that mitigates some of that damage. I think it might be worth looking back to that if it was just kind of if it was mild, not an unmitigated disaster. Exactly. So obviously only Gumi knows that, but I'd be very curious, right? Because them releasing that at that time, it was blatantly obvious that they're testing the waters. They're testing the waters for something. They're going to see, hey, is this work? Hey, what kind of backlash do we get? Just because they want to know, can we do it again? Can we even jack the price? I wouldn't be surprised if they had a guaranteed 7-star pull and they just jacked the price $10-20. We don't know what they pulled from the analytics there, right? So very curious what kind of bundles they have, what kind of pulls that they have. Is it going to be cash only? Are they going to have a ridiculously expensive Lapis one that you'd have to pull, that you'd have to spend the money on Lapis anyways, right? The same monetary goal, but give you a different path, give the player a different path to get you to that goal, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. Like, especially where you having enough resources to actually access this hype spike is a little bit more limited. You may as well give people the opportunity to transfer their cash money into the resources to enjoy the hype spike.
For sure. And it's going to be a huge hype spike. And, like, you know what? Like, things are definitely... Like, it was cool for... Like, it was a cool point after Christmas and everything. And like, business picked up, right? With that Final Fantasy 9 banner, with that Final Fantasy 12 banner, and the 15 banner. Like, business picked up. We've been getting good units. Like, Fina's this week. So, there's a lot of good stuff coming this way. So, I guess... This is kind of off track with 7-star, but I guess up and until 7-star, like... What are the big units that are coming? Do we get Sephiroth before 7-star, or is that going to be like one of our banner units to pull for on the day of? Because I think in Japan he did come out prior, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to get that beforehand or not. Like, obviously, like as you mentioned earlier, they're staggering the units, right? Like, we took forever to get Cloud, and I think they had several Final Fantasy VII banners at this point, and I guess it's hard to justify for the amount of time the game has been out and in the distance between the global release and the Japanese release. So I'm curious, are we going to get another Final Fantasy VII banner, I guess, before 7-star?
Yeah, I think they need another little pick-me-up in between. If it's on that 3 to 4 month timeline, then I would say you probably need another heavy hitter in between then and now.
Yeah, because, like, I know, like, as far as what I'm aware of on the horizon, after Fina, like, really, what is there, right? Like, we got our Sakura, we got the CG Lastwell, you got your Balthier, so, like, what units are you looking forward to sort of keep that momentum going that they developed for themselves this year until 7-star launches? Now, we did get hit with a good swerve with the Tomb Raider. So,
yes, Tomb Raider was a great swerve.
So, and now, I guess another thing, Easter's coming early, so we're going to have the Easter event, too. I imagine that's definitely going to be yeah, that's April 1st, so that's in a couple weeks. So, after that, like, what units can we look forward to, if any? Or I guess what I'm trying to lead to here is, do you think we're going to get 7-star quicker than we think?
I don't see things coming out sooner because there's more of these little interstitial, like, extra banners in global. So if anything, I would feel it might be longer on the end of the timeline.
Okay, so like a bigger gap between the two. So, like, maybe do it as the same as Japan's first year anniversary and launch it for global type deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would suck for them to delay it. Obviously, we want to get there and get cracking at it, because, like, what I feel 7-star is gonna do is really bring the grind back. So I guess I'll tell you, like, as a player where I'm at right now, I can guess that you're kind of in the same boat, but, like, you got units, even you may have some good units, and you might be in a position where you have good units, but you can't really maximize them because you don't have the other units to get the TMRs. That's kind of where I'm at right now, right? Like, I finally got an Orlando like a week ago, so Gumi stopped punishing me for making these goddamn videos. But, what can I do with them? Like, I went all in on DV, I went all in on Cloud. There's only so many attack materials and items to boost that attack up to go around, right? So, like, and even
like
with
those
and stuff.
Yeah, like those large sword masters, especially where a lot of them are limited to 5-star TMRs or just things that you get one of from trials. Yeah, that spreads you thin.
Very thin. So now, like, I got him around like 700, 800 attack, but frig, you want your Orlando to be over 1,000. Even putting all my best stuff on him, I can't get him over 1,000 attack. So, like, it's stretched thin. So I'm at a position where I need to pull for more units to get the TMRs to make my existing units good, right? And that's a massive grind. So, well, not even a massive grind, it's just you get it or you don't, right? So what the 7-star I feel is going to bring in is that big grind mode back, right? That's going to motivate you. Oh my god, this shiny tooth, I have 2 of this character, what do I need to do to get to the 7-star, and I guess it motivates you to really grind the game out again, as opposed to just pick it up, go through the motions, and put it back down. And now, not to say the content the last few weeks was bad, but at the same time, like, I feel a lot of the global players that are in our position have hit that plateau, and you're just waiting to hit on one of your summon tickets or whatever, banner pulls, and then get what you want, and then go with that grind. So I think the 7-star release, and with the content that's going to be surrounded with it, is gonna let you just sort of hit the ground running again.
Absolutely. So just doubling back to something where I was saying, oh yeah, maybe they'll do a Tomb Raider and Ariana banner. Just so I don't get completely blown up about this comment, I kind of take that back because I remember that, you know, it's like, oh no, wait, not all those units. Those units were mostly like starting as 3 or 4 stars, so they wouldn't qualify. So I got thinking, it's like, oh wait, so what would be a special banner they can do? And then I remembered something absolutely vital that would be super, super hype, both in player-wise and a little gift to global. I remembered that there is a global exclusive unit that everybody loves and people would just be dying to get access to, especially if they thought, oh, like maybe that unit will get a 7-star upgrade. And that was on the Nier banner. A2 is global exclusive.
Yes, I knew you were gonna say that. So they actually just, I believe, had the 1-year anniversary of Nier, or it's coming up. But I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see one for 7-star, that we see one right before 7-star. Because that will definitely get people to get their wallets out and pull, and spend that lapis. Because, like, even with all the units surrounding Nier, like, there is some savage TMRs. Like, Mechanical Heart? Come on, son.
Yep.
That's
lots of stuff you can get. And it would obviously become paired with, like, ability upgrades, as it almost always does. And the 7-star isn't too far-fetched, because I know that there are some, like, Japan has a lot of Dragon Quest banners that we don't get at all, just because that's a much more popular franchise there. And I think some of those units got 7 stars. Same with the Secret of Mana characters. So not impossible.
Okay, so, and that's what I'm thinking, right? Like with some of the banners that we got exclusively, which our pool is, I would say Japan has a lot more units that we have, well, that we don't have access to, that are even Japanese exclusive. Now, some of that's just because they're ahead of us by 7 months to a year, depending on what has been released so far. But yeah, I did a search the other day, and it wasn't that many. And then when you consider 5-star only, I think it might be under 10. Like, it's really not that much. So I would guess it's either they're going to be ignored completely until further down the road, or they're just gonna boom, just take it and go. Or it might be a thing if they have a banner specific to whatever coming down the road when they're rehashing some of their old banners. So I guess to wrap things up here, any other wild speculation or hopes and dreams that you want to accomplish with the release of 7-star?
All right, I will actually answer the question you asked like 10 minutes ago.
Yes!
Because it took some time to think about what global exclusive character would I like to see get a 7-star. And I thought about it, and like, there's obviously like the strong choices. It's like I still think Fravia is probably the most likely, but I would like to see Roberta get a 7-star.
Ooh, that's a curveball. I got a Roberta too.
Because she has a really interesting kit that's like really interactive, and it's really close to being there, but it's not quite there to being very competitive.
Now I did.
So I think.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I just think, you know, that little boost of 7-star on top of some ability awakenings, plus Dragoons get a lot of just game mechanic gifts in the future. Yeah. So, yeah, no, that's what I think would be interesting. I wouldn't sneeze at an Olive either. I really like that sprite.
Yeah, Olive's a dope character. Obviously I'm going with Fravia. I have 2 of them already. I'm very selfish, so please make her 7-star. Like, I think she is the lead candidate for global exclusive units. Wouldn't be sad with Zargabarth either. He was great. He held me down for a very long time until I got my Soli. And he does it all. Like, if you need him to do damage, he can do damage. If you need him to, like, kind of be a buffer. He can do that. Like, he's one of those jack of all trades, master of none, but he's... I guess he's a poor man's Noctis if you look at it that way. Just a shittier version.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, I can see that.
Because Noctis does everything, but he's not the best at anything, right? And, like, Zarg kind of falls in that category, too. Like, he can tank for you, he has high health, he has decent attack, but he doesn't have any good attack abilities. But his attack is high, and you know what I mean? So, and, like, his buffs are really good. That's one thing he's really good at, but, again, not the best. Like, Solely bodies him, and I think Noctis beats him in that category, too, but...
Yeah. And like, yeah, it's a thing of... Like, it's... Especially like where he's in that kind of specialist support thing where the specialist supports that are strong are so strong versus like Noctis who like has those attack options, but at the same time those little mastery things he does that you know, it's, you know, things like, oh yeah, he's got lots of natural evade, or that he has like a really strong arena ability. Like those little master of none thing I think give him the advantage over Zarg just because there's not as much competition for that, but Zarg's still good, and I think a 7-star would really expand him and like maybe bring him into that competitive tier.
For sure. I honestly, the Roberta pick was the best. I loved it. I never tried her with like a true double hand build of her, just because like she's more of a chainer, right? But so is Titus. But I really like that pick. You've won this time, Mr. Cinnamon.
Yeah, all I had to do was vamp for 15 minutes so I could think about it.
No, that's okay, right? Like, better late than never. Better late than never. Alright, so we will wrap this up. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this content and you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. You can follow Mr. Dan Rogers, a.k.a. Rue Cinnamon, at Dan Rogers. And, yeah, that's all we got for you today. Thank you, and good night.
Have a good night.